What is up, guys? Tony with another video. Hope you're all having a great day. Back with the third Mythbusters video, Ecom Mythbusters. I'm here with Dennis White right now. He is business partners with Noah that you saw in the previous videos, and he does a lot with Facebook ads, but he's more focused on the product research side of things and managing clients, and still some Facebook ad stuff. Really smart kid. Dennis is going to be talking about outsourcing, some of the myths that people talk about, VAs, and that kind of thing. So we're going to be going through here talking about the myths and why they're not true. So let's go ahead and get on my computer here and get to the first one. And before we get into this video, guys, I want to make a quick announcement. My new course is launching August 1st. I've been flying in young entrepreneurs all over the country and even the world for the past 2 weeks just to film content for you guys for my new course. I'm super excited to share with you guys. You guys are going to learn a lot about marketing, not just dropshipping, but marketing overall. So stay tuned for that. So the first myth is that people say you should only get cheap VAs. Why is that not true?
So the reason for not getting cheap VAs is mainly because you get what you pay for. So especially like if you're paying someone, say very cheap, like $3 to $5 per hour, expect very cheap work because obviously there's a lot of people who are willing to pay that. And so that means if they don't do a really good job, they're able just to move on to someone else and won't really matter. Instead of someone like in a foreign country, if you're paying them like $15 or $20 an hour, that's like a lot of money to them. And they don't want to lose that cash flow. So they're going to be willing to do what it takes to actually keep that job because obviously like they don't want to lose the money that they're making from you. So that's just pretty much the main reason for not having a cheap VA is because you want to have someone that values you and someone that you value because you're willing to put more money in them because you want to have a more quality rather than just going through quantity.
Yeah, so basically you want to build that relationship with these people because if you're giving them like as cheap as you want to pay, like giving them very low salaries, you know, cutting it close with how much you're paying them, you know, they can understand that feeling, you know, that you're not paying them as much money as they feel that they should be working for. So then they get the sense that, you know, it's not really worth it for them. They'll get sloppy with the work. And then eventually, you know, they're either going to mess up your store or somehow something will happen because VAs are really important when it comes to your store. It's one of the crucial parts, which is fulfilling orders or customer support. You know, those are two main things that come to place with your store. So you need to make sure that everything is good with those. You're paying them well. And I mean, essentially it pays for itself if your store is doing well, doing consistent sales. So the next one we have is expensive virtual assistants are the best. Is that true or false?
It's false.
Why is that?
So I'm going to explain. I know I just told you guys about cheap VAs and why you shouldn't go to them, but going to an expensive VA, it's like this. If you pay a lot, it doesn't mean you're going to get a good service. It could just be a really good salesperson back behind it. So when you're looking for someone, don't just assume that the high price means that they know that they're really good at what they do. It could just be a cheap VA in disguise, and it's kind of like the same thing where they have a lot of clients, they have a lot of movement, so if they don't do really good work, they can just move on. They know they have numbers. Especially it just comes around when you're outsourcing to a lot of things that, you know, come in to be like higher cost. People assume if you're going to pay more, you'll get better, but at the end of the day, like I'm going to explain the next slide, but you need to be willing to put it in time, whether if you pay someone cheap or if you pay them a lot, because you need to make sure the job gets done the way you want it. So even if they're expensive, they might have a good way to do it. But if you're not training them in the way that you need it done for your specific business, then obviously you're going to run into conflicts whether if you pay a lot of money or if you don't. It's like the same thing. You're just paying more money.
Yep. So the next one we have is that people saying that they won't ever help the VA with tax or sort of train them to what they need to do. What is that about? So
it's pretty much like whenever someone hires an outsource, say if it's for the customer service, and let's just say that person's brand new to your business, and the biggest thing whenever you onboard someone is that you need a specific system in place for when they come on board. So everything is just very step by step. It's very cookie cutter and very simple for them just to come in and start working inside of your business. But if you're letting someone inside of your business that doesn't know your processes and like what you're about, they're probably going to implement stuff that they used to maybe do before with other clients, and it may not just be a fit for your business. And so just making sure that they have the right manuals when coming into your business for, let's say, customer service, like they have the right script set up, you know, they have the correct, they just have the correct format for actually talking to your customers for your specific brand, especially if you're building more of a brand with it. And then also working with them one-on-one whenever you do first start out, even if it's for 1 or 2 calls, just to make sure that they're good to go, that they don't have any questions, and you won't need to worry about them anymore. But a lot of people, they just expect to outsource and have the job done for them. But if you put a little bit of time in the beginning, it's going to be a lot easier long term, especially for building a team.
Yeah, so it really comes down to the communication and making sure that they understand exactly what you're trying to do and what they need to do for you, so everything runs smoothly and nothing bad is occurring. So the next one we have is, do you need a contract with your virtual assistants? True or false?
True. I would say true, yeah. So if you're working through a site like, let's say for example, you're working through a freelancer site, they usually have steps that are already set up to protect you being the buyer, making sure that the work is actually going to get done. But I've had experiences where, I've bought through these services and I've had, VAs that they just didn't really perform at the level that I wanted them to. And especially what I learned from it is like, you want to make sure that there's a lot of clarity, because whenever you bring out a VA onto a project, whether it be a one-time or something that's continual, there needs to be a lot of clarity to what they are meant to do and to like what their job is. If they're not extremely clear on what that is, it's going to be very hard for them to perform the way you want them to perform on. So having an external agreement is more, it's not for a legal thing really, it's just so they're fully aware of what they need to do, and there's no confusion on what they need to do or what they can't do. So just having that agreement just shows that like they can never go back on a word, and that you can never go back on something that you said.
So basically that both sides of the party have agreed on this certain thing that they need to do, and you want to make sure that everything's just clear and to the point. So the next one we're going to go to is, I don't need a Facebook ads agency. Facebook ads, that's what everybody wants to learn. They want to learn how to make money on Facebook. Influencers aren't the hardest thing in the world. It really just takes a hot product, a good ad, and knowing a little bit about what you're doing. But with Facebook ads, you can really start to scale it. And a lot of people don't really understand Facebook ads and the skills that it takes, because it takes an actual very long time to actually learn everything and do it yourself. So do you need a Facebook ads agency?
So, at first I would say false, is like when people say they don't need one, because I'm not saying for the fact that like obviously you're able to go and learn by yourself. At the end of the day, anyone who's really good at it does. Like we've hit 7 figures in sales with Shopify since the beginning of the year, and we've done that with over 25 stores now, and we're about to onboard like 50 more. And like we did the main 7 figures with like 10, 15 main stores. And so relying on one store, if you want to be able to scale, it just really isn't the way to go, especially if you're just starting out. Like I've seen stores that have done like millions of dollars just being in that one, but being able to have multiple stores prevents, say if one store, if it goes down for whatever reason, you still have other stores that are continuing making you income. For me, being an agency, like it's a different kind of factor than say me starting up a store and always going up, but there's always ways around it. But you always want to be able to have more stores in. If you don't have a replicatable system for you going in and actually knowing that you can just go do the product research and pass it over, have them test it and find a winner, go move on, become profitable, then move on to another store, it's going to be very hard to create more long-term money, more consistent cash flow with this.
Yeah, because the main thing with business and making long-term money is focusing most of your time on what you're best at. So maybe you don't know much about Facebook ads, but you're really good at designing stores, finding products, and getting everything set. So if you can find an agency or have someone that knows Facebook ads to come in and help you out and take a specific percentage of the revenue or profit, whatever it is, that can help you a lot long-term, because it's essentially automating the marketing part of it. And marketing is basically everything about dropshipping. That's how you make the money. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Dennis was sharing some value for you guys about VAs and outsourcing. Any last words for the people?
And I would say just focus on systems and just making sure that there's a lot of clarity when you're outsourcing, making sure that everyone knows their role, because if you don't, you scale up to a very high point where there's a lot of stuff going on. It becomes very messy and very hard to manage, which is where I almost went down. So that's why I had to take a step back and create systems so, the business isn't messy, it's able to move on its own.
Yeah, just be patient with everything and learn exactly how to structure your system and create something that's replicatable so you can continue to make money for the long term. So that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you follow Dennis on Instagram. I'm going to leave the link below. So that's it for this one. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.